My client, Jake Gleeson, wonderful guy, grew up in New Zealand, always wanted to be a goalkeeper, and he got picked up at age 19 by the Portland Timbers, and he dedicated his whole life to the Timbers and soccer.
Moves like an athlete. Enormously promising career.
Former Timbers goalkeeper Jake Gleeson is suing a team doctor for more than $25 million, alleging medical malpractice connected to a surgery that he says cost him his career.
That's the beginning of how things went wrong.
In the summer of 2018, it turned out Jake Gleeson had stress fractures.
He needed plates to be screwed into each of his shins in order to secure the tibia.
And he went in for a routine surgical procedure with one of the team doctors, a Dr. Richard Edelson. The doctor put my client under anesthesia. After putting him under anesthesia, the doctor realized he was missing one of the two plates. He needed to do bilateral surgery on both legs. Chaos ensued in the OR. The doctor made a rather reckless decision at that moment. Instead of just waking my client up or just doing one of the two sides with the properly sterilized plate, Dr. Edelson decided to send someone off-site, pick up another plate, put it through a 15-minute sterilization instead of the normal 3 to 4 hour process. And all of this happened while my client was still under anesthesia. That leads to a cascade of disaster outcomes.
A couple of weeks later, the doctor had not gotten around to telling Jake Gleeson what had happened, and nobody else did either. And now there was an infection.
So my client went from being one of the most athletic, young, superstar goalkeepers in Major League Soccer to, after 14 surgeries, not able to run, not able to jump. Every step he takes in life is filled with pain. It's been like that for 6 years. It's gonna be like that for the next 50 years of his life.
Before the trial, we learned that the defense was not serious about settling the case. Their point of view was that they had the greatest experts in the world, and we were not something they had to worry about.
We knew that we had to have a high-powered orthopedic expert. By using the Expert Institute, we retained a Dr. Joseph Liu. He is the LA Kings orthopedic surgeon, USC football orthopedic surgeon, former orthopedic surgeon assistant for the Chicago Bulls. He flew in at 10 o'clock at night, the night before the trial. I met with him here in this conference room. He reviewed the defendant's opening statement in a matter of minutes. He had completely memorized all of the fact pattern in this case. He showed up with no notes at trial and completely eviscerated the defendant's argument that this didn't fall below the standard of care and that he should have, the Dr. Edelson, the defendant doctor, should have told our client about what really happened. And he backed up all of our damages. And in fact, I probably never would have connected with Dr. Joseph Liu. This was the first time he'd ever testified in a trial. It was this trial here. So it really goes to show you the Expert Institute can connect you with people you'd never have an opportunity to work with unless you have that Rolodex that the Expert Institute has. Trials have a sense of momentum. You can start to feel that you're winning the case. That happened when I took the evening to really prepare my cross-exam for the defendant, Dr. Edelson. And I went through a series of questions that destroyed his credibility. I asked him, Doctor, it says you don't flash implants unless it's an emergency, from all the governmental organizations, from all the medical organizations. In fact, the manufacturer of this implant says you don't do this. But not only that, Dr. Edelson, The clinic that you own and operate, can you show me where it says that here in your own policies? And you know what he said? Well, you see those policies at the surgery center, those are mostly written for the staff. They don't apply to the surgeons. There were 40 juror questions of Dr. Edelson after he was done testifying. He was on the stand for over a day. They were incredulous questions. Things like, Dr. Edelson, if your family member, your son, was put through this type of procedure, would you agree to just do flash sterilization and not the normal 3 to 4 hour process? I knew that the jurors were angry at Dr. Edelson after those juror questions. One of the questions in the case was, what was the future wage loss and past wage loss that my client had suffered? To determine that, we had to see at 28, what kind of a future did he have in professional soccer? Oregon's a unique state. We don't have any expert discovery. We call it trial by ambush here. You show up on the first day of court and the defense pulls out their list of witnesses and they just start reading experts. The defense brought in an expert called Patrick McCabe, who was a sports agent. Immediately, Expert Institute sent us a transcript of that expert testifying in 2006, where he opined that an 18-year-old who'd never played a day of professional soccer would have made, in today's dollars, 10 to 20 million in future wage loss. The defense didn't know it, and because we had that transcript, we confronted him on the stand after he testified that my client probably only had a couple more years and only would have made hundreds of thousands of dollars. And we said, you know, isn't that funny, Mr. McCabe, that you're saying my client had no future career prospects in soccer? Because for an 18-year-old guy who'd never played 20 years ago, you said he would have made 10 or 20 million dollars, didn't you? And the jury ate it up. They told us afterward how powerful that piece of testimony was and how it completely discredited their expert. And that's all because we were able to use expert radar from the Expert Institute. I knew we had had great momentum throughout the trial. I thought we crushed them in the closing argument. But what was so frightening is that the jurors were out for almost 2 days.
Now it's up to the jury to decide, was Dr. Edelson negligent by using flash sterilization?
They asked no questions. And finally, Friday at about 2 p.m., we got the call. There's a verdict.
A Multnomah County jury awarded Gleeson more than $20 million in damages after he sued Edelson for medical malpractice.
The community has spoken. What happened in that operating room was not okay. They awarded him all of his medical bills and future medicals, about $600,000. They awarded him almost $5 million for his past and future wage loss. And they awarded him over $15 million for the pain and suffering that he went through. We heard from jurors afterward. The defense witnesses had a mantra. They just kept saying the same phrases over and over again. And it was clear that it was scripted testimony. All of our experts, many of whom that we worked with the Expert Institute on retaining, they came and most of them had never testified in open court before. They were genuine people. They cared about Jake Gleeson, my client. They went in depth through the records to point out to the jury the medical causation facts. We had an overpowering case because we found the right experts by working with the Expert Institute.